Samantha sat on her bed, staring out of her window at the gray sky. Rain drizzled down, blurring the world outside. It had been 6 months since Lucas moved away, and the silence in her room felt heavier each day. They had grown up together in the same orphanage, sharing secrets, dreams, and laughter. But now, it felt like a piece of her heart was missing. Every day, Samantha checked her phone, hoping for a message. She remembered the last day they spent together before he left. They had promised to stay in touch, but life had a way of pulling them apart. Lucas had always been the brave one, ready for new adventures. He was adopted by a family in another state, leaving Samantha behind to navigate her life alone. Samantha picked up her phone and opened their chat. The last message was, "From Lucas, I'll miss you, Sam. We'll always be friends." She sighed, closing her eyes as memories flooded back. They used to stay up late, whispering about their dreams. Lucas wanted to travel the world, while Samantha dreamed of becoming a writer. They had imagined a future where they would always be together, no matter where life took them. But now, that future felt far away. She missed his laughter, his goofy jokes, and the way he understood her without words. The distance between them felt like an ocean, vast and unbridgeable. She longed to reconnect with him, but didn't know how. What if he had forgotten her? What if he was too busy with his new life? Determined to fight against her sadness, Samantha grabbed her notebook. She opened it to a blank page and began to write. Writing had always been her escape, a way to express feelings she couldn't say aloud. She poured her heart onto the pages, writing about her loneliness and her memories with Lucas. Every word was a reminder of their bond, and with each sentence she felt a little lighter. After finishing, she felt a spark of hope. Maybe she could send him a letter. It was old-fashioned, but something about it felt right. She could write down everything she wanted to say and share her life with him. It would show him that she still cared, that she still remembered. Samantha quickly got to work. She wrote about her days at the orphanage, the games they played, and the adventures they dreamed of. She told him about her life now, how she was. Still working at the local library, surrounded by books, but feeling lost without him. She wrote about the stories she was creating, hoping to become a writer someday. After sealing the letter in an envelope, she felt a sense of accomplishment. It was a small step, but it was something. The next day, Samantha walked to the post office, clutching the envelope tightly. With each step, her heart raced. What if Lucas didn't care anymore? What if he had moved on? But she pushed those thoughts aside. She needed to try. After dropping the letter in the mailbox, she took a deep breath. No matter the outcome, she had reached out. Days turned into weeks, and Samantha often found herself checking the mailbox with anticipation. She hoped for a response, but the silence felt heavy. Just when she was about to lose hope, a letter arrived. It was from Lucas. Her hands shook as she opened it. The familiar handwriting brought a rush of warmth. He wrote about his new life, his new family, and how much he missed her. "I think about you every day, Sam," he wrote. "You were my best friend, and I will never forget our time together. I want to hear all about your stories. Please write back." Tears of joy filled her eyes. Lucas still remembered her. He still cared. In that moment, the distance between them felt smaller. They could reconnect. Samantha wasted no time writing. Back. She told him about her latest story ideas and how she was trying to find her voice as a writer. She wrote about her days, the people she met, and the little things that made her happy. With every letter they exchanged, their connection grew stronger, bridging the gap that distance had created. As the weeks passed, Samantha felt a renewed sense of purpose. She started writing more, inspired by their conversations. Lucas's encouragement lifted her spirits, and she began to believe in herself. She even joined a local writers group, sharing her work and making new friends. One rainy afternoon, she received a surprise video call from Lucas. Seeing his face lit up her heart. They laughed and talked as if no time had passed. He shared stories about his new family and the adventures he was having. "I wish you could see this place, Sam. It's beautiful, but it's not the same without you," he said. "I wish I could be there too," she replied, feeling a pang of longing. "But I'm so proud of you, Lucas. You're living your dream." Their laughter echoed through the screen, and for the first time in months, Samantha felt truly happy. They were miles apart, yet it felt like they were together again. Their bond had not only survived, but had grown stronger through their letters and calls. As the months passed, they continued to connect, sharing their lives and dreams. Samantha realized that distance didn't have to mean the end. They were still friends, still connected by their shared history and memories. The distance became a backdrop to their friendship, a challenge they could overcome together. One day, while sitting at her desk, Samantha had an idea. She decided to write a story about their friendship, about the power of connection despite distance. She wanted to inspire others who felt alone, just like she had. With Lucas's encouragement, she felt ready to share her heart with the world. In her story, she wrote about two children in an orphanage who promised to never forget each other, no matter where life took them. She wanted readers to understand that true friendship could withstand anything. It was a celebration of hope, love, and resilience. As she finished the last page, Samantha smiled, feeling a sense of accomplishment. She looked out the window at the rain, now a gentle drizzle. The clouds were parting, revealing tiny patches of blue sky. She picked up her phone and sent Lucas a message. "Do you remember me, human? We grew up in the same orphanage?" And in that moment, she knew the answer would always be yes. They would always remember each other, no matter the distance. Their friendship was a light that would guide them through any storm. Samantha sat at her desk, staring at the blank page in front of her. The words she wanted to write felt stuck in her mind. Ever since she had started exchanging letters with Lucas, she felt a mix of joy and sadness. She was happy to hear from him, but the distance still weighed heavily on her heart. She missed their late-night talks and the way they could share anything without fear. Determined to push through her writer's block, she picked up her pen. Her mind drifted back to the orphanage where they had grown up. The small, cramped rooms filled with laughter and the scent of old books. They had promised to always be there for each other, but now, with Lucas so far away, she felt lost. Afternoon, she decided to visit the old orphanage. It had been abandoned for years, but the memories were still fresh in her mind. She hoped that being there would inspire her to write. As she walked through the familiar streets, she recalled the countless adventures they had shared, the laughter, the dreams of a better life, and the bond that had formed between them felt so real. When she reached the orphanage, Samantha pushed the creaky door open. Dust danced in the sunlight that streamed through the shattered windows. The old playground outside was overgrown, but she could still picture them swinging and playing tag. She took a deep breath and stepped inside. The air was thick with memories. She walked down the hallway, each step echoing in the silence. She paused in front of the room they used to share. It was empty now, but she could still see Lucas sitting on his bed, reading comics while she scribbled stories in her notebook. Those moments were special. They had always encouraged each other to dream big. Samantha sat down on the floor, leaning against the wall. She pulled out her notebook and began to write. "Dear Lucas," she started, "I visited the orphanage today. It feels strange to be here without you. I miss our talks and the way we could dream together. I want to tell you about everything, but I don't know where to start." As she wrote, tears filled her eyes. She felt the weight of loneliness pressing down on her. She wanted to reach out, but what if he had moved on? What if he had new friends who didn't know her? But deep down, she knew their friendship was different. They had shared something special, a bond that distance couldn't break. After writing for a while, she closed her notebook and took a moment to gather her thoughts. She remembered Lucas's words in his last letter. "I think about you every day." Those words gave her hope. If he thought of her, then maybe he felt the same way. Maybe he was also searching for a way to reconnect. Samantha took a deep breath and made a decision. She would write him a long letter, sharing everything she had been feeling. She wanted to be honest and open about her sadness and her dreams. She would tell him how much his friendship meant to her and how she wanted to bridge the distance between them. That night, she sat at her desk again, writing with passion. She wrote about her daily life, her struggles to write, and how the world felt less bright without him. She poured her heart into the letter, determined to convey the depth of her feelings. "I want to share my stories with you," she wrote. "I want to hear about your new life and how you are doing. Please don't forget me, Lucas. I'm still here, cheering you on from afar." Once she finished, she sealed the letter in an envelope and decided to send it the next day. As she lay in bed, she felt a sense of relief wash over her. She had taken a step toward reconnecting, and that made her heart feel. Samantha woke up to the sound of rain tapping against her window. It was another gray day, but this time she felt different. After exchanging letters with Lucas, she felt a new energy inside her. Their friendship was blossoming again, and she was ready to embrace it fully. The distance that once made her feel lonely now felt like a bridge connecting their lives in a beautiful way. As she sat at her desk, she opened her notebook filled with ideas for their joint story. The project had become her passion, a way to channel her feelings of hope and connection. She wanted to write a tale about two friends who faced challenges, but always found their way back to each other, just like her. And Lucas. Samantha picked up her pen and began to write. Once upon a time, in a small town, there were two kids named Sam and Luke. They grew up in an orphanage, dreaming of adventures beyond the walls that held them. No matter where life took them, they knew their friendship would always be their greatest treasure. As she wrote, her heart filled with warmth. She wanted to capture the essence of their bond, the laughter they shared, and the dreams they dared to dream together. The more she wrote, the more she felt Lucas beside her, encouraging her with every word. After a few hours of writing, she paused to reflect. She wanted to share this story with Lucas, but she needed more than just words. She wanted to show him how much their friendship meant to her and how it had inspired her to chase her dreams. That evening, she decided to call him. It had been a while since they last spoke on video, and she wanted to see his face. With a mix of excitement and nervousness, she picked up her phone and pressed the video call button. The screen flickered, and after a moment, Lucas's face appeared. "Hey, Sam," he exclaimed, his smile brightening her screen. "It's so good to see you." "Hi, Lucas." "I've missed you," she replied, feeling a rush of happiness. Chatted about their days, sharing stories and laughter. Samantha felt the distance between them dissolve as they spoke. "I've been working on our story," she said, her eyes shining with excitement. "I think it's coming together really well." "Really? That's awesome," Lucas said, leaning closer to the camera. "What's it about?" Samantha took a deep breath, excited to share her vision. "It's about two kids from an orphanage who dream of adventures. They promise to always be there for each other, no matter what happens. The story will show how they overcome challenges and stay connected, even when they are far apart." Lucas's expression turned serious. "That sounds amazing, Sam. It's so true to us. I love it." Encouraged by his enthusiasm, she continued, "I want to show how our friendship is strong, even with the distance. You've always inspired me to keep dreaming, and I want to capture that in our story." "I've been thinking about that too," Lucas said, his voice warm and sincere. "Even though I'm far away, I still feel close to you. You're my best friend, and that won't ever change." Samantha felt tears of joy prick her eyes. "I feel the same way, Lucas. No matter where we are, we're still connected. I want to keep writing and sharing our adventures, even if they're just on paper for now." They spent the rest of the call discussing ideas for their story. Lucas suggested creating characters that represented their dreams. He wanted to be a hero who traveled the world and helped others, while Samantha envisioned a character who used words to inspire people. Their ideas flowed freely, and with each suggestion, their bond deepened out. As the call ended, Samantha felt a renewed sense of purpose. They were not just friends. They were partners in this creative journey. Their story was becoming a symbol of their friendship, a way to show that distance could not break their connection. The following weeks were filled with excitement as they continued to write. They exchanged letters filled with ideas, plot twists, and character development. Each letter brought them closer, and Samantha felt a sense of joy she hadn't experienced in a long time. One day, as she was working on the story, an idea sparked in her mind. "What if we host a small reading of our story when it's finished?" she thought. It would be a way to celebrate their friendship and share their journey with others. Feeling inspired, she wrote to Lucas, sharing her idea. "We could invite our friends and family and read the story together. It would be so much fun." Lucas replied enthusiastically, "I love that idea. Let's do it. We can make it a special event, just like our adventures in the orphanage." As they planned the reading, Samantha felt a thrill of excitement. They decided to make it a celebration of their friendship, inviting the people who had supported them throughout their lives. It would be a way to show that even though they had moved on, their bond remained strong. On the day of the reading, Samantha prepared nervously. She decorated the small community center where they would hold the event. Colorful banners and balloons filled the room, and she set up a table with their story, printed out for everyone to read. As guests began to arrive, Samantha's heart raced. She spotted familiar faces, friends from the orphanage, her old teachers, and even some of Lucas's new friends. Everyone was smiling and excited to be a part of this special moment. When it was time to start, Samantha took a deep breath and stood in front of the crowd. Lucas joined her on a video call, his face projected on a screen behind her. "Thank you all for being here," she began, her voice steady but filled with emotion. "Today, we are sharing a story that means so much to us." As they read their story aloud, Samantha felt the warmth of their friendship wrap around her like a cozy blanket. The laughter and cheers from the audience filled her with joy. She could see Lucas beaming on the screen, and knowing he was sharing this moment with her made her heart swell. After the reading, people came up to them, congratulating them on their creativity and the beautiful bond they shared. Samantha felt a sense of pride, not just in their story, but in the friendship that had grown stronger through the challenges of distance. Later that evening, after the event, Samantha and Lucas had their usual video call. "That was amazing, Sam," he exclaimed. "I can't believe how many people came to support us." "I know. It felt so good to share our story," she replied, her heart still racing with excitement. "Thank you for being part of it, even from so far away." "Always," Lucas said, his eyes shining with sincerity. "You're my best friend, and nothing can change that." As they talked, Samantha felt a sense of hope wash over her. They had faced the challenge of distance, and it had only made their friendship stronger. They were creating something beautiful together, a reminder that true connections could withstand anything. In that moment, she smiled and thought, "Do you remember me, human? We grew up in the same orphanage?" And she knew the answer would always be yes. Their friendship was a beacon of hope, guiding them through any storm. No matter how far apart they were. Asterisk. Samantha woke up with the sun shining through her window. It was a bright day, a stark contrast to the rain that had poured for weeks. Today felt special, filled with possibilities. After the successful reading of their story, she felt energized and inspired. This was a new chapter for her and Lucas, one where they would continue to strengthen their bond, despite the miles between them. As she made her breakfast, her mind wandered back to their last video call. Lucas had been so excited, his laughter contagious as they talked about their plans for the future. They discussed writing more stories together, creating a whole series that celebrated their friendship and their dreams. But as the days passed, she felt that familiar pang of sadness creeping back in. Despite their progress, she still missed him deeply. Samantha sat down at her desk, determined to channel her feelings into more writing. She opened her notebook, the pages filled with their story ideas, character sketches, and snippets of dialogue. Today, she wanted to write a letter to Lucas, sharing her thoughts and feelings about their journey so far. With each word, she hoped to bridge the distance that sometimes felt overwhelming. "Dear Lucas," she began, her pen moving swiftly across the page. "I've been thinking a lot about our reading. It was so amazing to share our story with everyone. I felt so proud of what we created together. But I also feel sad sometimes. I miss you. I miss our late-night talks and all the little adventures we had. I want to know how you're doing and what you're thinking." As she wrote, she reflected on how their friendship had changed since Lucas moved away. At first, the distance felt unbearable, like a heavy weight on her chest. But now, with their letters and calls, it felt like a challenge they were overcoming. Together, she wanted Lucas to know that he was still her best friend, no matter how far apart they were. After finishing her letter, she sealed it in an envelope and decided to send it right away. She walked to the post office, excitement bubbling in her chest. As she dropped the letter into the mailbox, she felt a sense of hope. This small action was a step toward reconnecting and reminding Lucas how much he meant to her. Over the next few days, Samantha busied herself with work and her writing. She poured her heart into her stories, using her emotions as fuel. But despite her productivity, she still felt a lingering sadness. She wanted more than just letters and video calls. She craved the comfort of having Lucas physically present in her life. One evening, as she was preparing dinner, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Lucas. Her heart raced as she opened it. "Hey, Sam. Just wanted to say I got your letter. It made my day. I miss you too." Samantha couldn't stop smiling as she looked at the photos from their online book launch. There she was, grinning at the camera, and on the screen beside her, Lucas was waving and laughing. Their friends had sent messages all week, telling her how much the stories meant to them. For the first time in a long while, Samantha felt like she was really making a difference. But once the excitement faded, the old feeling of emptiness returned. Even though they had published a book together, and even though they talked often, Samantha still missed Lucas deeply. She missed the little things, his laughter echoing down the hallway, the way he'd draw silly doodles in her notebooks, and how he always had an answer for her worries. The video calls were wonderful, but sometimes they made her notice the distance even more. One windy afternoon, Samantha sat by her window, watching the trees sway outside. She felt restless. Reaching for her phone, she scrolled through her messages, with Lucas stopping at a photo of the two of them as kids. They were sitting under the old tree at the orphanage, sharing a sandwich and laughing at some secret joke. The memory made her chest ache. She wanted to ask Lucas if he ever felt the same way, but she was afraid. What if he was perfectly happy with his new life and didn't miss her as much? Still, the thought wouldn't leave her mind. She opened her notebook and wrote a letter she wasn't sure she'd send. Dear Lucas, do you ever feel like something is missing, even when everything is going well? I know we've done so much together, but sometimes I wish we could go back to the days when things were simpler. I hope you remember how much you mean to me, even now. Maybe one day we'll find a way to see each other again, not just on a screen, but in real life. She set the letter aside, unsure if she was brave enough to send it. Instead, she decided to go for a walk to clear her mind. As she wandered through the park, she noticed how the world kept moving forward even when she felt stuck. Kids played, people laughed, and the sun peeked through the clouds. She took a deep breath and decided she would be hopeful. If she and Lucas had made it this far, maybe there was still more they could do. The next day, Samantha received a package from Lucas. It was a small box, covered in stickers and his messy handwriting. Her heart skipped a beat as she opened it. Inside, she found a friendship bracelet, woven with blue and green threads, just like the ones they used to make as kids. There was also a note. Sam, I made this for you. I found some of our old friendship bracelets in my drawer and thought we could start the tradition again. Sometimes I wonder if things will ever be the same, but then I remember all the ways we've changed and grown. Even though I'm far away, you're still my best friend. Let's keep finding new adventures, even if they're different from the ones we had before. Samantha's eyes filled with tears. She tied the bracelet around her wrist and felt a wave of warmth. Maybe she wasn't alone in missing the past. Maybe Lucas missed her too, but he was trying to be strong and hopeful, just like she was. Inspired by Lucas's gift, Samantha decided to do something brave. She would save up and try to visit him. It wouldn't be easy. She didn't have much money, and traveling to another state was a big step. But she wanted to show Lucas that their friendship was worth every effort. She started a small savings jar, putting away a little bit from each paycheck. She also talked to her friends at the writers' group, sharing her dream. They were encouraging, offering ideas for ways to earn extra money. Some even bought copies of her and Lucas's book to help her out. With every small act of kindness, Samantha felt more hopeful. As the weeks passed, she and Lucas kept writing, dreaming, and supporting each other. They wrote more stories, planned imaginary adventures, and even started working on a sequel to their book. Sometimes they talked about what they would do if they saw each other again. Would they go to the park, visit the old orphanage, or just sit and talk for hours, catching up on everything they'd missed? Samantha's savings jar slowly filled. Every coin was a step closer to closing the distance. On tough days, she looked at the bracelet on her wrist and remembered Lucas's words. They had changed and grown, but their friendship was still strong. One evening, Samantha received a message from Lucas. It was short, but made her heart race. Sam, guess what? My family is planning a trip back near our old town this summer. I'm not sure if we'll have time, but maybe we can meet up? I'd love to see you in person again. Samantha immediately replied, her hands shaking with excitement. That would be amazing. I've been saving up to come visit you too. Even if it's just for a little while, I want to see you. Let's try to make it happen. For the first time, the dream felt real. They both wanted it, and they were both willing to try. The sadness that had weighed so heavily on Samantha's heart began to lift, replaced by hope and determination. The next few months passed quickly. Samantha worked hard, saved every penny, and planned for the reunion. She and Lucas counted down the days together, sending each other lists of things they wanted to do. They joked about recreating their childhood adventures, but this time as grown dash-ups. Finally, the day arrived. Samantha packed her bag, her heart pounding with excitement and nerves. As she rode the bus to the meeting spot, she watched the scenery pass by and felt tears prick her eyes. She thought about all the times she'd felt lonely, all the times. She'd wondered if Lucas remembered her. Now she knew the answer. She jumped off the bus and spotted Lucas waiting for her, just like old times. They ran to each other, laughing and hugging, the years melting away in an instant. "Do you remember me, human? We grew up in the same orphanage?" Samantha whispered, tears streaming down her face. Lucas grinned and hugged her tighter. "Always. Sam, I could never forget." And just like that, the distance disappeared, replaced by the unbreakable bond they had always shared. Their friendship had survived, and together they looked toward a future filled with hope, new adventures, and endless possibilities. The sun was shining brightly as Samantha stepped off the bus. She looked around, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. This was the moment she had been waiting for her reunion with Lucas. They hadn't seen each other in years, but now they were finally together again. As she walked toward the park where they had agreed to meet, memories flooded her mind. She remembered the countless hours spent playing there as children, sharing secrets and dreams. The laughter they had shared echoed in her ears. Would it feel the same now? Would they still connect like they used to? When she reached the park, her heart raced. She spotted Lucas sitting on a bench, looking around with a smile. He looked different, taller and a bit older, but his eyes were still the same warm brown she remembered. Taking a deep breath, she approached him. "Lucas," she called, her voice filled with joy. He turned, and his face lit up. "Sam." He jumped up and rushed toward her, wrapping her in a tight hug. It felt so good to be in his arms again. The distance between them melted away. "It's so great to see you," Samantha said, pulling back to look at him. "You've changed so much." "Yeah, you too. But you're still the same Sam I remember," he replied, grinning. "How have you been?" They sat down on the bench, and the conversation flowed easily, just like it always had. They talked about their lives, their dreams, and everything that had happened since they last saw each other. Lucas shared stories about his new family and friends, and Samantha excitedly talked about her writing journey and their book. "I still can't believe we published a book together," Lucas sighed, shaking his head in disbelief. "That's amazing, I know." "It feels like a dream," Samantha replied, her heart swelling with pride. "I couldn't have done it without you." As they reminisced about their childhood, Samantha felt a sense of warmth and comfort. It was as if no time had passed at all. She realized how much she had missed this connection. But as the conversation continued, a pang of sadness crept in. What if this reunion was just a moment in time? What if they couldn't maintain their bond now that they were living separate lives again? Sensing her hesitation, Lucas looked at her with concern. "Sam, are you okay? You seem a bit quiet." Samantha took a deep breath. "I'm just really happy to see you, but I also feel a bit scared. What if after today we drift apart again?" Lucas reached out and took her hand. "I get it. I've been worried about that too. But we've already proven that we can overcome distance. Look at all the letters and calls we shared. We can keep this going." His words brought her comfort. They had faced challenges together before, and they could do it again. "You're right," she said, squeezing his hand. "I just want to make sure we stay connected, no matter what." "Definitely," Lucas replied with determination. "Let's make a plan. We can set up regular video calls, write more stories together, and keep supporting each other's dreams. We can even plan another visit soon." Samantha felt her heart lift. "That sounds perfect. I would love to keep writing together and sharing our lives." With renewed hope, they spent the rest of the day exploring the park, just like they used to. They played on the swings, climbed the jungle gym, and even had a picnic on the grass. For hours, they laughed and enjoyed each other's company. Forgetting about the world around them, as the sun began to set, casting a warm glow over the park, Samantha felt a wave of gratitude. This reunion was more than just a visit. It was a reminder of the strength of their friendship, no matter the distance.